Well, fears of a sort of hybrid warfare are rising in Europe after two undersea cables in the Baltic Sea were damaged. One of them runs between Finland and Germany and is the online cable between the Nordic country and Central Europe. Germany on Tuesday said that the damaging of the two undersea telecom cables in the Baltic Sea should be presumed to be a sabotage, while Lithuania's armed forces have increased their surveillance of its waters in response to the development. Germany's foreign minister stated that Russia's systematic attacks on European security architecture are unprecedented in their variety and scale. And to understand more about the ramifications of the development, we'll be talking to our colleague in a bit. Let's take a look at the story first.
Wir sind uns einig, unsere Sicherheit zu schützen und unsere Abschreckungsfähigkeiten zu sichern.
The Ukrainians are not only defending their own freedom and their country, but the Ukrainians have also been defending our European peace for 1,000 days and nights. Thanks alone are not enough. We must continue and even more so be prepared to do everything possible for the defense of European peace.
Der Vereinten Nationen und das in ihr.
And to understand more about the developments, joining us live is Deutsche Welle correspondent Chiponda Chembelu, joining us live from Berlin. Hi there, Chiponda. Now, we understand that the Baltic Sea communication cables damaged has obviously not gone well with the German establishment, hearing the foreign minister there. Give us an insight how and why Germany believes it's a sabotage. So what all do we know?
Well, we do know that there's two cables involved. There's one going between Finland and Germany, and there's another one going between Sweden and Lithuania. Now, a Chinese flagship which was traveling from Russia is suspected to have caused both of those incidents. And this is not the first time that a Chinese ship has damaged cables in the Baltic Sea. And that is, of course, why we've also heard from the German Defense Minister, Boris Pistorius, saying that nobody believes that these cables were accidentally severed. Those incidents, of course, took place within 24 hours of each other. One was on Sunday, and the next one was on Monday. The one between Finland and Germany was damaged on Monday. So, of course, it's also the connection, the time span between these two events. And, of course, both the foreign ministers of Germany and Finland have also issued a joint statement saying that they do believe that this could be part of Russia's hybrid warfare. So it's really the connection between those two events.
All right. Having said that, your foreign minister believes that severed Baltic cables cannot be a coincidence. You've elaborated on that as well. So the larger question now is that how secure is the Baltic Sea?
Well, this is, of course, not the first time that sabotage has happened there. And there's been, of course, other incidents involving infrastructure there last year and, of course, in 2022 with the explosion of the Nord Stream pipeline. And while that is still being investigated by German authorities, there have been many conspiracy theories around that event with a lot of speculation about who was behind it, from Russia to Ukraine and even the United States government. Now, after the explosion, NATO and its allies, of course, stepped up their patrols in the Baltic Sea. But of course, with this recent cable cut incident, there are, of course, questions about whether they are doing enough. So to answer your question, of course, it is not as secure as what may have been thought before the incidents.
So what are European countries really doing to protect their critical infrastructure in water, sea waters particularly?
Well, if we look at the Baltic Sea, there are hundreds of kilometers of critical infrastructure, including for energy, so gas pipelines, for instance. And then there's also communication cables. And there are plans on top of that for offshore wind farms there. Now, securing every part of the Baltic Sea will remain a challenge. So European countries are trying to work together. And the fact that both Finland and Sweden are now members of NATO does improve security around the Baltic Sea. But of course, the Baltic Sea is an international body of water, and it isn't under NATO control. Russia has ports in Kaliningrad and St. Petersburg. So Russian ships are expected to be going through the Baltic Sea, as are other ships like Chinese ones, which might be heading to Russia. And this is why it is so hard to secure those waters for European countries.
All right, Chiponda, thank you very much. We'll leave it there as of now. Thank you for joining us live from Berlin.